As part of the investigation of the criminal case opened on the fact that Azerbaijan unleashed an aggressive war against Artsakh and Armenia on September 27th, investigative steps were taken to study the photos and videos posted on the internet, social media, and news media. Based on the results of the study, evidence was obtained that the military personnel of Azerbaijan committed gross violations of the norms of international humanitarian law. Respective data are being checked, and appropriate procedural actions have been carried out to generalize the crimes committed, provide the grounds for a criminal legal assessment, identify the perpetrators of the crime, and bring them to criminal liability. The General Prosecutor's Office of Armenia is taking measures to submit to the international prosecutorial organizations and partners the facts of atrocities against the Armenian POWs and civilians in Azerbaijan. Charektar and Aknaberd villages of Shahumyan region of Artsakh and Nagorno-Karabakh will remain under the control of Armenian troops, the head of Charektar, Kamo Chakanyan, told NEWS.am. According to him, the residents of these villages have found out about this decision at the last minute, and many of them had mainly taken their items and burned down their homes. Meanwhile, on November 21st, the Armenian government published a decision on the transfer of the occupied or transferred Artsakh cities and villages to Azerbaijan. Armenian Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan gave an interview to Russia's TASS news agency. According to him, the current presence of Russian peacekeepers in Nagorno-Karabakh will not be limited to a 5-year term. True, 5 years may be enough to create guarantees of security and stability in the region, but the Karabakh conflict is a prolonged one, he said. The Prime Minister also gave an assessment of the internal political situation in Armenia after the signing of a joint statement by the leaders of Azerbaijan, Armenia, and Russia. The fact is that the calls made by the opposition do not receive support from the Armenian society. This needs to be stated, he said. Now the primary task of the government and all political forces of Armenia should be the restoration of complete stability and security of Armenia. I mean not only internal security, but also an external one, he added. I have published a roadmap for a 6-month period, and over the next 6 months, we must work to stabilize the situation. I am also not very happy. We are all unhappy with the situation that we have, but we need to understand what alternatives we have, the Armenian Prime Minister noted, adding that, and we quote, "Now we are faced with many questions about the return of the citizens of Artsakh and Nagorno-Karabakh to their homes. We need to stabilize the socio-economic situation in Armenia." Human rights activist Azerbaijan Shahumyan was apprehended, then released from the Central Department of Yerevan Police. Shahumyan told reporters that he had been apprehended on suspicion of beating, whereas it was the opposite. The human rights activist said this incident was a provocation against him by the authorities. Meanwhile, a group of citizens has begun protests and chanting "traitors" at the courtyards of the residences of the MPs from the ruling My Step bloc. The opposition is accusing these lawmakers of involvement in the betrayal of the surrender of Artsakh. The ARF Dagestan Party office has issued a statement noting that over 24 organizations and structures, in particular the ARF bodies operating in various countries, subsidiary and partner organizations, have issued statements and messages and sharply condemned the trilateral statement signed also by Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan. The aforementioned organizations consider the Prime Minister and his political team responsible for the current situation, the anti-national and anti-state provisions stipulated by the signed document, internal national disunity, and violence against the opposition. Thus, 15 organizations and structures of the diaspora have demanded the resignation of the Prime Minister, Nikol Pashinyan, and his political team. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan spoke about the guarantors of peace in the Artsakh region. "We have made a great contribution to the elimination of injustice that has continued in Karabakh for 30 years, he noted, adding that he had phone talks with Russian President Vladimir Putin. We discussed the steps that will be taken to resolve the issue in Karabakh. Turkey, Russia, and Azerbaijan will be the guarantors of peace in the region," Erdogan added, addressing the Turkish parliament. Artsakh Karabakh, a member of the majority My Step faction in the National Assembly of Armenia, has submitted a petition to give up his parliamentary seat. "As of December the 4th, I am assuming the duties of Armenia's trade representative in China. Now more than ever, Armenia needs new connections, markets, opportunities, new investments," he said. By the decisions of Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan, Naira Markaryan has been relieved of the post of Deputy Minister of Economy and Rafik Grigoryan has been dismissed from the position of First Deputy Minister of Justice. Meanwhile, by Pashinyan's another decision, former Minister of Education, Science, Culture and Sports Arayik Harutyunyan has been appointed Chief Advisor to the Prime Minister. Harutyunyan held the aforesaid ministerial post since 2018, but was dismissed on Monday.